Hello, everyone. I'm Toby Shifsky, I'm the Vice President of Kaplan Real Estate Education. And we're here today for a Real Experts webinar where we bring you basically everything there is to need to know about the career in real estate. And today we really are going to talk about what a career in real estate can do for you. Our guest is none other than Neneh Biffinger. Neneh, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So if you guys don't know who Neneh is, she's actually a Kaplan alumni. Sometime in the mid-teens, she came through the education, got her license, and we're going to hear her story. And you're going to be able to ask questions because I know a lot of our attendees today are people actually still sitting in class, and we'll have people who've been in the business for as long as I have, over 30 years. So somebody's going to get a little something out of everybody's going to get something out of our conversation today, Neneh, I can just tell. And so everybody has kind of the same background I do about Neneh. Let me give you a little bit of her background and her bio. So, as the principal of Green Means Go LLC, by the way, I like that. Green Means Go.
Thank you.
Neneh brings nearly 30 years of experience and track record of contributing to over 200 million in sales volume across industries ranging from pharmaceutical sales to real estate. Known as a master connector, a cheerleader, researcher, and speaker, Neneh's true superpower is her ability to build authentic relationships and drive growth through strategic business development. She is passionate about teaching professionals how to network with purpose and master the fine art of the follow up, which we all know is a huge pitfall. So I want to hear some about that too, Neneh. The follow up to truly stand out in today's crowded market. When she isn't empowering others to succeed, you can find her camping in the Colorado mountains or exploring the globe in search of her next passport stamp. Neneh, thank you for being here today.
Thanks again for having me. To clarify, start going when I got my Kaplan license or when I was going through Kaplan in the teens, I was not in my teens. It was 2000 teens. Yeah, just to clarify.
Oh,
Yes.
in your teens. That's a good one. I like it. Funny, funny, funny. Well, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to pull down the PowerPoint and we're going to have a discussion.
Let's do
So let's do this. I'm going to jump right in with a poll question, if you don't mind, Neneh, because I want to know who's all in the audience today. We have a lot of people here today. If you guys could play along, I'm going to ask the poll question. That way we can kind of steer our conversation around who's in the crowd. Okay.
Okay. I'm
So let's do
curious.
this. Poll question. Everybody, if you're on your phone, you may have to swipe to the other page. Just swipe your phone to see the poll question, but it should be up for everybody right now. How long have you had your real estate license? Now, Neneh, we oftentimes have a lot of people who are actually sitting in the licensing education right now. So I expect that's going to be a
Exciting.
pretty significant group today. Less than 3 years. How about you people? Got in maybe when COVID was still kind of hammering everybody. 3 to 5 years, definitely got in when COVID was here. 5 to 10 years and 10 plus years. Look at that. We have people in that have been in business 10 plus years coming to hear what we're talking about today. And then also, we have another group, those people who aren't even in real estate yet. You know what? You're in for a treat because you're going to hear a story about somebody who's basically found a way to find her own success. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll, and I always share the results. Just for everybody, so you know, the polls are always anonymous, so nobody knows what you answered. But the chats that we're going to ask you to participate with, those do have your name on it. So here come the results. 67% of our people here today, Neneh, are currently taking classes. 13%
Exciting.
of our people are thinking, maybe I want to have a career in real estate, I think. 15% less than 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 2%, nobody from 5 to 10 years. Is there like another thing happening here? Like nobody from 5 to 10 years. 10 plus years, 4% of the people in are 10 plus years. All right, well, let's do
Good
this.
mix.
Yeah, it is a good mix. Pretty healthy. Kind of skews towards the I'm thinking about real estate or I'm just getting into it. I'm doing my classes, and good on you guys for doing your classes and coming here. So let's
Mhm.
jump right in. I think people are interested. Neneh,
Yes.
your your real estate path is anything of what, from what I understand, that we considered traditional. Can you share kind of what first drew you to pursue, your license with Kaplan and where that kind of initially led you? What's your genesis story?
Yeah, yeah. The year I did it was my year of shitting or getting off the pot. My husband and I have loved real estate for a long time. So we would take our scooter to open houses on the weekends. We would search for land and dream, and we'd have lots of conversations about investing in real estate. And after maybe 10 years of talking about getting my real estate license, again, finally said, all right, got to make it happen. And after researching actually what was the best path, because there's a lot of options out there, right? And I very much sometimes I can research too much, but it didn't take long to find out after talking to other agents and doing research online that Kaplan was the best choice, best on based on reviews and success rates. And yeah, it was not traditional as far as like getting going and I'm going to do all these transactions full time. It was primarily part time, helping friends and family, and then our personal investments. That was my goal.
That was the goal. I tell you what, just to share a little bit about our typical, we've got a lot of students on here. There are probably a bunch of people on here actually feel pretty good about it. Like, yeah, well, actually, that's what I was thinking of doing. There's something sort of part-time. In fact, 40% of all new agents who come into the business expect to do this part-time. And it's
Yeah.
not even as the primary breadwinner in a house. It's I want to do this much business and I want to do it for this reasons, or they have their own personal reasons like personal investment, things like that. So, yeah, super cool. All right. So, when you got into it, I think we talked a little bit, and you said that you took the some live classes, you took the exam prep, you did all that. So there's a lot of people in the middle. Is there an end to this? I mean, because it's a long slog in Colorado. I think it's 168 hours of education requirement. That's a long one. Okay, I think the only one longer is Texas. And so, any
Yeah.
advice for people sitting in their courses right now? Like, how do I get through this? I mean,
Yeah.
is there an end?
Yeah. Absolutely. Great question. I remember that. And I was doing a full-time job doing it online when I could. I had a goal. I was like, I'm going to be done. They had said like 6 months is how much time I had. And I was like, I'm going to do it in three, overachiever. It fell somewhere closer to the five. What I would say is absolutely dig in, especially if you're with Kaplan. They have so many fantastic resources and ways to help you learn and study. I just remember so many of the tips and tricks, and I made flashcards and I would study when I could. And the biggest element I remember though is that they helped you prepare for the test. And that's really what you want to get through is the test to then be able to start learning contracts and all the things you have to. So just really use their practice tests, go to any resources they give you for that, take those practice tests, study those again. That would be my biggest tip to get through because it can be tedious, it can be long. But also take advantage of the extra resources as far as the worksheets that are maybe helping you understand how to do a settlement statement. It's important. You might not think it is, but it really is when it comes full circle and all that you really need to know in this industry.
Fabulous. So for everybody on here, if you are a Kaplan student and you're in, you know that you have a lot of resources. We provide even more resources than we did when you came through, Neneh.
Okay.
If I can tell anybody who thinks they're struggling or having a trouble at all, make sure you look in your live online learning hub in your learning management system when you log in, where you log into your courses. In there is live online education every single day with instructors who are passionate, professional, and can help you with all the topics. There's calendar in there to show you everything. So hopefully you're getting into those resources. Well, let's do this. Let's jump right into, I'm a new agent, and we're going to kind of go through this whole thing. So those people who've been in the business for a while, we're going to, love to have you play along in the chat. And I know people are asking some questions already. We'll get to some of those, but um, many new agents kind of think about when they come in, and I can tell you this from an industry perspective. Everybody comes into real estate through the same gate. You have to get a real estate license, but you can go on a bunch of different paths once you get
Yeah.
into real estate, right? You can be residential, you can be commercial, you can do business brokerage, you could do,
Yeah.
property management, you know, uh, uh, how many, I mean, say, so many new agents, right, stick strictly to residential sales. What helped you? Because you do land, right? You do some interesting pieces, land, builder partnerships. What, how do you,
That was my segue.
how is that the right direction for you? How did you know that?
Yeah, it was a morphing of situations. Again, when I started, I was really only doing maybe two to three transactions a year, primarily with friends or referrals. And it was to keep a pulse on the market so that I was staying fresh as well for transactions I might do for myself, as well as being able to be valuable. Just before COVID, I was in a soul sucking job and was exploring ideas for different businesses. And a friend of mine and mentor in the home building industry came to me and presented an opportunity to partner with her as a consultant, contractor consultant, to build a broker program for a new master plan community, which is a big neighborhood with lots of builders. And just before launching the opportunity, it was delayed because of COVID. And so she connected me with Keller Williams Bold, which is an online training resource that if y'all ever have the opportunity to take, I highly recommend it because it really helps you learn about really the real estate market and how to be successful in such a competitive industry once you're done and you have your license, or if you need a refresher, or you need, like, it was just very, very helpful. But it also was going to help me bring value to the broker program because I would understand what it was like as a true broker and what it would take. Well, that training ignited my excitement about real estate and adding it in as a full-time extension to the consulting business that I was going to be launching. And then with that, I always knew that I've always been more B2B, not B2C. So business to business, not business to consumer sales. So I knew that I didn't want to do I was going to do non-traditional and really focus more on builders and investors and developers to market new construction. That's really what I wanted. There's people that absolutely, I remember learning from people that were very focused on buyers. They wanted to help them find a home.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's amazing
Great
that if you
place.
have
Yeah.
these options. Um, the thing that was fantastic was I was blessed to be connected with who is ultimately my broker manager, and it was a boutique brokerage, and their focus was on builders, investors, developers, and new construction. And she was a builder and a developer. So I was learning from my technically target market that I wanted to learn from, which was amazing because I was able to hone skills, my approaches, and all the ways that I could bring value to builders because I just knew that was the area I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I fell into land as a necessity because during COVID, it was build it and they will come, builder mentality. So they didn't think they needed your help on the back end to sell because things were just going. And
Right.
so, in order to have a seat at the table to earn the right to be able to sell the new home at the back end that I wanted to do, I had to find land for them and bring it to them. And so it was again by necessity. And that's what I mean. Like when you're learning things in Kaplan, you might think it's not important. Who knew that I was going to need to know about water rights or land information that they're sharing, while you're training because it's so much. But that's what took me down that journey. And then I ultimately got good at it. I was just really good at finding land and then bringing it and then having those relationships with the builders to creatively market products on the back end.
So super cool. So, just to kind of unpack one little piece of this that I thought was interesting and really relevant to a large group of people here today is um, you found a niche kind of. People will call that a niche. Residential is a big category, and your niche that you were interested in was land and builders and the B2B side of it. You didn't even think about
Yes.
like I'm gonna hit all my friends and family up for if they want to buy a house.
Yeah.
It was truly was a niche, and it's one of those. Yeah, I think you're pretty fortunate because I think a lot of people go in thinking it's very broad when the opportunity to really maybe specialize and differentiate yourself is a niche. Finding
Mhm.
what it is that you like, that you're good at, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I say one other thing around that too? Like, I don't
Yeah.
think you've got to come in and do what you start. Like, you might start in one direction, but things open and you might move in another. Because when I did first start, I thought, what would be different? In Colorado, people love their dogs. So I am going to focus on people with dogs. And I learned everything there was about transitioning to a house when you have an animal, selling it or buying. And I did all this advertising with dogs, and people thought I was a vet. So that really didn't work. I go take a picture with my dog. So your first doesn't have to be your final. Like there's options, and learning along the way can open opportunities for other things. So what you start with doesn't always become what you end with or where you're going next either.
Yeah. Funny. And then, it sounds like you were able to actually use this interest and then you found I mean, I'm going to just put the word out there, but like a mentor, somebody who was your broker
Yeah.
who had a lot of what you needed,
Yes.
and found somebody who was willing to share. What would
Yes.
you tell people kind of about that experience? I mean, because I know a lot of people get in and they love their first brokerage and they stay there forever. And there's other people get there and go, this isn't everything I thought it was. I mean, what's the lesson in that?
I a couple. I do think your brokerage can be a make or break with your journey and your experience in the industry. And it really depends on what you want. When I first started, because I was part-time, my focus was something that didn't have fees because I didn't know how much business I would do. And so I found the one company, but they didn't have support or mentors to help me know how to write a contract or do my business. So that wasn't a good fit.
Mhm.
So, change. It's okay if you change brokerages so that it's the one that fits the best for your business and your goals and helping you bring value in this industry because that's what we're here to do. Um, but I also would say a big piece for me is really reaching out and having partnerships. I am a huge advocate of informational interviews, and that was a prime time for me as well. I looked for brokers that I respected, wanted to emulate, were successful in the ways I wanted to be, and I met with them and I asked them questions and what's hard, what's good, what's making you successful, what are the needs, what are the struggles, asking those questions as well as even within your brokerage, other brokerage, talk to different brokers, talk to ones that are seasoned, talk to new, if you're seasoned, talk to new ones because they have new ideas. They've heard things, the market changes. So I'm a big advocate of asking a lot of questions and finding someone that you can share thoughts with. You may even not even know how much that you can share. For example, if you're really good with social media, somebody who's seasoned in real estate might not be. And so y'all can share information together. So I really believe in surrounding yourself and finding the people that you can collaborate with and connect with that and help each other.
Well, and it's kind of an interesting point. Like I said, we have a nice group of people here that are starting out. We got some grizzled veterans in here too. I'd love you to kind of play along and even to comment on this is I think one of the biggest misconceptions people have when they're coming through real estate licensing, and I've maybe talked about this before, but the is that their broker, right? The person they're going to go hang their license at and they're going to be a part of, is their boss.
Yeah,
And that's not it.
right.
They're your kind of business partner, right? That's not your boss. I mean, that makes a difference if you put that perspective on. eh, I would interview business partners almost more than I would interview a boss because a boss, I feel like I'm going in for a job. I mean, do you have a thought on that? Like how do you pick a good business partner?
How do you pick a good business partner? To me, it's about values. It really comes down to what is of value to you, and what type of business do you want to have, and what is your brand, and what do you want to represent, and align yourself with those people and ask questions around that of what's
Yeah.
important to you. And that's going to vary for everybody, and it's going to vary by season and where you are in your career and where you are in your life. But this is a business, and I think you hit on something that's probably the hardest piece for real estate agents or realtors because you are a CEO of your business and you have to run it that way. It's not just going to happen. You have to commit, you have to work it, you have to commit to it, and there are so many elements of it. So finding again the right people that align with your values and will support you and that you can support is going to be crucial in being successful.
Love that. I agree. And that as a business partner, not only your values, but you could probably, like an onion, you could probably unwrap it to,
Yeah,
what services, you could, but making sure you find a place. And I think you also said what I like is the first place doesn't have to be the only place.
yeah,
For some people, it is, and it's a
it can
privilege.
be. Yeah,
And it stays
absolutely.
forever and
Yeah,
fabulous. But as long as you feel like you got a good business partner, right? I mean,
yeah.
yeah, super cool. Well, you've also grown as a public speaker over this time. How did your real estate experience, how did you kind of parlay your real
Mhm.
estate experience to open that door? How did you do that?
A joke that I've been selling since the womb. So, not just in real estate, but many years of business development, marketing, and sales. And through that whole journey of over 30 years, like you mentioned, I have done a lot of speaking. I have done emceeing of events. I've been on a panel, I've moderated panels, PKs, customized webinars, sales training, and I've always loved it. I love sharing knowledge and inspiring, igniting transformation. And again, like real estate, I contemplated for a long time about making it part of my profession. And last year was the year that I launched my professional speaking business. Really focused on helping sales professionals stand out in a crowded market and win business. And to what your point was, focusing on follow-up mistakes that cost you millions, how to fix it, relationship and value-based connection and networking versus transactional networking and connections, and then developing your secret sauce as a salesperson. So that's my passion. Keynotes and webinars and trainings for organizations as well as companies.
Super cool. So you've been passionate about it for a while, and did you have to get to some level like, okay, now I am an expert at this, or was it really like, or was it just a mental switch like I just need the guts to do it? I mean, I mean, you've been doing it, but you've really kind of jumped into this now.
I did. Yeah. It was a decision. Again, I had been doing speaking, but I thought, well, if I've been doing this, I should be getting paid for it at this point. So that was a big element of it. But I also knew that I had value to bring in areas instead of just talking about other people's products or somebody
Yeah.
else's content. And I joined a program to help me with a coach. And the question was, what could you stick your flag in that you feel like you know the most about, that you're like, I got this. And I was like, connecting and networking. That's what I do. And then just it grew from there, building my business and my product and my what I talk about around that because it is what I'm passionate about and want people to be comfortable and feel good. And to me, like we talk about, follow up is probably the biggest piece and the biggest failure in sales that people, it's a simple thing to add in and can be monumental in your success.
So that's I want to make sure we talk about follow-up.
Okay.
But before that, I just want to kind of, have you seen your real estate business get better since you've made this move? I mean, this effort to do more public speaking?
Um, yes, in that it gives me more exposure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also think that because of the research I do for my topics, that absolutely hones
Yeah,
into being
smart.
better. Yeah. Like I have to practice what I preach. I'm telling people follow up. I need to follow up, so it's that element. So I would say yes. I mean, it's things I've done, but now honing in some of those skills, and having conversations, different types of conversations, and really, I think it's that research and that's again what I like. Keep your learning, do
Yeah.
better, apply, and it's effort. And so yes, I would say it has, in just that I've researched more, and so I have more knowledge to be able to implement into my business. Yeah.
The it's interesting. So I was in real estate and 1991, whew, big year. And I sent my wife to school at Kaplan. It was actually a little school called ProSource in Minnesota. I didn't know that it was just purchased by Kaplan. And I sent her in to get her license because I was doing land development. And I'm like, I need somebody and you could do it. And she goes in and she comes back, she goes, hey, you know what? In class, they said they're looking for instructors and you should go be an instructor. And I'm like, nah. She goes, no, I think you'd be good at it. You should go do it. And I'm like, well, it's real estate licensing. I'd have to probably know the law. That would be good. So I'm kind of stay clean. And then you can work on your public speaking skills. And so I went in and I auditioned, and then I got this little part-time, real estate licensing educator job. And my whole life changed after that.
Mm,
Getting on stage and talking about and standing in front of people and talking about something that you can be an expert at, I mean, one thing led to another. And, now I'm, with Kaplan for what, 25 years.
yeah.
And it's amazing what it can do.
Yeah.
Uh, Being the expert, being a professional, and standing in front of people. So, we have almost 100 instructors across the country, and I can tell you the good things happen when you stand up in front of people
Yes.
and speak.
And
And
to
so,
that, Toby, I would say yes. Like that piece, before I started my professional, I was asked to be on panels to help talk about, help because I was very much into new home construction. And for a lot of real estate agents or realtors, that's new to them. They may not understand it. They know resale, but not new. And so I would definitely be on panels, and that expanded my network and my opportunities because I was looked at as the expert in that area. So absolutely agree with you on that. The more you can be involved and be out there as a voice of an expert and bring value in what you know, it will absolutely bring you additional opportunities and open
yeah.
doors.
Yeah, be the expert.
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Even if it's sitting in for coffee with your friends, be
Yes.
the expert. Talk
Yes.
about it. Yeah, super cool, super key. Looking back at your education, and and we get educated. Kaplan's very formal education, and then there's continuing education. There's lots of places you can get education, mentors. But what are kind of the most valuable kind of skills that you learned, when navigating such a kind of a diverse like career path that you've had? What do you think?
I touched on it briefly before, but what I would say is you may not think something is relevant to your role. You're not doing it. For example, back to the settlement statements, I was like, oh, I don't need to know numbers. I'm not the lender. I won't have to do that. It won't matter. Of course it does. If you're going to bring value to your client, you need to know a little bit about a lot of things. So talking to experts and understanding what different elements, what the key components are within real estate. It's not just a house, but even within that, it's how are you showing the house? What questions are you asking? So it was really around um, understanding what real estate is, but then going a little deeper and learning questions to ask. And I will tell you the number of times though that I did go back and reference because I maybe during class thought, oh, it's not important. But go back to my flashcards or my books from Kaplan, like all my notes to say, what was that again? Oh yeah, okay, cool. It's easy. Got that. So I just think it's a big piece it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to learn when you're in it. But then even as you get going, there's still things to learn. So just not saying I don't need to know that. You do. Like just
Yeah.
learn some extra things, be valuable.
I agree with you. I think that for me, and I'm sure for some of the people who've been in the business for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, have you seen the change through the whole commission change, for the buyer representation? You need to be able to answer questions people have when they see
Yeah.
stuff in the news. And so one of my,
Yes.
biggest pieces is making sure you're staying current
Mhm.
on what is happening in the news that affects real estate in your market. I don't care if you're in commercial or residential or land, right? Knowing the answer to those questions, you become the expert, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. And so skills, knowledge, and I think of skills as like, how do I deliver that knowledge to somebody?
Yes.
Right? Do I realize that, you know, does this somebody who needs to read it? Is this somebody who needs to hear it?
Mhm.
And in the world of AI, what does that mean? I mean, you have thought on that?
Well, I would also back up and say, often we're in it and we hear it and we know it, but then so we take for granted that other people don't. So even before they might ask you a question, proactively, when you get a piece of information or a nugget, share it, whether it's to your friends and family, your sphere, your target market, sending out little nuggets of information because it puts you as the thought leader or the person that is an expert and knows your market. Don't be that secret agent. Like no, show people that you know what you're talking about, what you do. With AI, can you clarify what you mean by question with that question? What about AI?
Well, yeah. So for AI, I'm thinking about. I was just at a conference last month. No, it's actually 2 months ago now. But you know, everything in outdoor, outside of the ballroom, the exhibit was all these AI companies
Mhm.
talking
Yeah,
about how they can make your job easier.
yeah,
In fact, you could do it fast. In fact, if you don't get involved, AI will just do it for you. It was
right.
it was this whole AI. It was like booth after booth of these little pop-up AI companies, and it was everybody thinks, that AI is going to solve the day. And then inside the ballroom,
Mhm.
up on stage were
Mhm.
these top executives of some of the largest brokerages across the country. And each one of them was asked, I mean, they were all asked, how are deals getting done in this marketplace right now?
Yeah, yeah.
And the answer that came back from all of them was they're getting done face to face.
Relationships. Yeah,
It's about sitting in front of somebody. It's about being real. It's about, using your knowledge skillfully to endear trust, and they got to like you and they got to trust you, and then they know you're real because you're not some AI slop or some AI marketing glib that goes out and
yeah.
or some fake picture of something. You're real. And
Yes,
so there's a way and a power to differentiate yourself. I believe in that.
absolutely. I totally agree. Instead of artificial intelligence, my husband says, have actual intelligence with your AI. So AI is great for spurring some ideas, giving you a creative way to maybe write a listing, but you can't just take that and post it in. If I hear the word honed one more time, or like with so many of the keywords, like you still have to put some intelligence into your work and be the authentic person and that relationship. Absolutely. It is a relationship business, regardless of how much AI is there. A person is going to trust you more than that computer answer. Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. So some of for the students and new agents and even some of these people who've been in the business for a while now. Okay, we have some people who've been in for 3 to 5 years, 10 years. That's usually a point when you're in it for 3 years. You kind of go, all right, I really like this and I really don't like that. And so taking a direction. What advice would you give to somebody in staying open to
Yeah.
unexpected opportunities?
Yeah, I love this question. I absolutely think you need to be open and try new things. Again, back to finding a mentor, asking questions, talking with other brokers in your brokerage or outside of. Ask them what they're doing, what they're seeing. I also believe in volunteering for roles, whether it's in your brokerage or in your community, because that's new roles that might open up, helping you understand what you like, what you don't like, or new opportunities that are out there. I think it's also beneficial to evaluate after each transaction, start understanding what you liked, what you didn't, what you struggled in, what could you learn more about from that transaction, like something that maybe was a hiccup for you. Well, hone in on that skill and maybe that'll open a door of something else. Think about what you have learned, and then again back to what you can share with colleagues, and just really have conversations.
Mhm.
And don't let yourself get pigeonholed.
Mhm.
Talk with different sellers and buyer types. Just because you've constantly maybe or think or have worked with first time home buyers, maybe you need to try working with a first time seller or something else, like talking with different types of clients.
Yeah.
And get to know your passion and what you like, not what somebody else tells you you need to do or like. Get to know what inspires you and what drives you, that's going to keep you going every day, because it's not always easy. You still have to get up the next day. And so if it's something that you have passion about, it's a little easier. And then figuring out where some of the holes and needs are and how you can fill that in a different way.
Yeah. The interesting unexpected opportunities. I think of this myself as trying something uncomfortable.
Yes.
Right? I mean, if you're comfortable, are you happy? Are you successful? Are you, all those things? Is it doing everything you had hoped it would do? I mean, there
Mm,
was a time, and I'll be honest, when I was doing just residential resale, I didn't find it super fulfilling. I didn't. It was weird. I know I was helping people, but I was like, I'm just kind of reselling properties. I'm not really adding anything. Am I? It was a very immature view of what I did because we're bringing a lot of value, right?
mhm.
Keeping deals together. You know how some deals are easy, you feel like you got
Yeah.
overpaid, and then you have that nightmare deal that you have to slog all the way to the finish line, and drag it over the goal line to get it
Or
in.
fire
You're
the client.
I
Yeah.
did not make enough money on this deal, right?
Right.
So you get it, but and then I had an opportunity to kind of stretch. I had a client say, "Could you help me with this piece of land I want to develop?" And I hadn't done it personally to that point, and I was like, well, I really like the guy, and once again, values lined up, and I took a shot at it, and you know what? I found it incredibly satisfying, and I found out I was really good at developing land and then selling it to contractors and
Yeah.
builders, you know. And so, kind of a little bit how maybe you went down that road, but um, it wasn't something I originally thought it was going to be, and it
Mhm.
was outside my comfort zone, but it was wonderful. I found
Mhm.
out I was really good at it.
Good at it. Yeah.
And the better I got at it, frankly, the more of the
You love it.
passion it
Yeah.
became, right?
Mhm.
Because I wasn't super passionate about it at the beginning, but when I became good at it, and then I became really good at it, it was funny how passionate you can become about it.
Sure.
Um, so that would be my little contribution to that. But are you think you found your passion? Are you in your wheelhouse
I
right now?
do.
Or
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's been iterations, but yeah, and I'm sure some things will change, but right now, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, we've talked about a bunch of things and we've talked a little bit about a path. And now the first path isn't always the always all forever path. Um, what do you think if you had three bits of information for everybody from people not even sitting in their licensing education yet, they're thinking about real estate, to people who are in real estate, to people who've been in real estate for 10 years,
Yeah.
what do you think everybody should just take away from this session today? What three
Yeah.
things? Okay.
This is hard to limit it to three, so my three might be a little stretched and long, but
That's fine. Go ahead.
we've talked a lot about the little pieces, but ultimately, I would say to sum it up, number one is collaborate. Regardless of what level you are, how many years you've done it, collaboration to me is so key. Whether it's again with other brokers, industry partners, other businesses, you can collaborate with a business in your area to help grow your business or learn. I just think collaboration is so big as well. Like how you said, Toby, somebody asked you to help them with something. Well, on the flip side, you could ask somebody if you could help them. Could you shadow a broker that you see doing something super cool that you're interested in? Shadow them, learn from them, so collaborate in different areas and help other people. That's number one. Be authentic. We touched on this as well.
Yeah.
Finding your passion, what you like, what you want to do, but stay true to yourself, not what other people think you need to be or what you need to do or something. It just that's so important. That goes to the AI element as well. Like being authentic is going to be trustworthy and people will be drawn to you, not to what you think you're supposed to be doing. And then the last one is to stay curious and keep learning. We talked about this, but read articles, listen to experts like lenders or title, other sales leaders. Invite me to speak at your brokerage. I think just really, really important though is truly ask questions, stay curious, keep learning because things are always changing and there's always something new that you can put in your pocket to bring value for your clients.
Fabulous. Love it. Love it. I love the stay curious. To me, stay curious means stay educated, right? Continue
Yes,
to
yes,
ask questions to learn. I love the fact that you said, you know, ask, ask people, right? Be assertive and say, huge part of at least specifically at any point of a career, ask,
yeah.
knowing how to ask. This has been fabulous. Neneh Biffinger, I want to thank you for being here today. I wish you luck in your speaking career. I think if you could just come out of your shell a little bit, you might have a chance at it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Once again, this has been Real Experts with Kaplan Real Estate Education, and we thank you for attending. Thank you.
Thank you.